On day one of any economics class in London or anywhere in the world, they are going to teach you about bananas, and it's going to be the most important lesson that you learn in business, and everyone forgets it the day after they teach it. It is literally like learning about economic gravity. It's the most important thing, and every entrepreneur misses it. People can be in business for 20 years and still not understand what's going on with the lesson that they teach you about bananas. So here's the lesson. The lesson is really simple. If you've got 3 bananas and 6 people want the bananas, then the price goes up and you make profit on your bananas. If you've got 3 bananas and only 1 person wants a banana, then the price will drop and you are going to make a loss on your banana business. And they call this demand and supply. And I really want to give you a quick lesson on how this works and how it will change the rest of your life. I promise you, if you understand this diagram that I'm about to share with you and the implications for your business, you will literally have a different 5 to 10 years in business. So let's get into it. So as far as it relates to entrepreneurs, you need to know about 3 zones of this diagram. So the first thing to know is that when demand is high and supply is low, then we enter this zone here called profit. And we'll say profit is tolerated. Now what's happening here is that demand for something massively outstrips the supply. And what we have here is demand and supply tension, right? So this is tension that is created. So we can see plenty of examples of this in the real world. Last year, the Oasis concert sold out, and there were many people who wanted a ticket to Oasis. There was limited supply of Oasis tickets. So what happened was the price was really high and they made millions in profit. And there was all these people who bought up the tickets and resold them at a higher price. And essentially the market was functioning normally when there is demand that outstrips supply. Lots of people are making profit, right? So that's that first zone here. The second zone is the opposite. This is called losses, right? And this is when the supply of something is high and the demand for that thing is low and losses are tolerated. So for example, if you see an empty restaurant and you know that that empty restaurant has 50 to 100 tables and chairs laid out, all the staff are standing around, everyone's frustrated because the expenses are running, right? The lease is still going, the kitchen costs a lot to turn on, the electricity is still on, the lights are still on, the marketing's probably still being spent, but they have too much supply and not enough demand, and they're losing money, and it's costing them money just to keep the door open. And this is a very upsetting situation. So this is where a lot of businesses find themselves, where supply is exceeding demand. Just a quick interruption. I'm running a workshop that I think you want to be at. It is a workshop on the 5-step process for becoming a key person of influence in your industry. There's a reason that we do it live and it's not pre-recorded, and that is because we're going to interact. There's all sorts of workshop activities that we're going to do live. You're going to get so much value out of this. There'll be a link below. Register right now. Come and join me for a 90-minute Zoom workshop where I'm going to be live on there. We can interact, do Q&A. It's a lot of fun. You'll be doing it as a shared experience with about 100 different entrepreneurs from around the world, and everyone gets so much value. You'll be so glad that you did. One of the best things that you do all week, maybe even all year, maybe in your entire life. Anyway, see you soon. Back to the video. Now, the most common area that you'll find in business is this little area here. This is called wages. Now, wages is the equilibrium where demand and supply are roughly the same. So if you had a business coach who could look after 10 clients and they have about 10 clients per year who want to sign up for business coaching, then the business coach will earn, roughly speaking, what a corporate consultant would make. If you had a lawyer who had the ability to take on 10 clients and there's roughly 10 clients, then they make what a lawyer should earn. So there is typically what we'd call a market rate or an equilibrium consensus rate of what somebody should earn. Typically for most industries, it's 50,000 to 150,000 per year. And in that zone there, that is kind of what you earn if you run a business. So it doesn't matter that you're taking risk, or it doesn't matter that your industry, doesn't matter what you're really doing, you're just kind of earning the same amount of wages that most people earn in an industry. Now, most of you did not get into business to earn wages. Most of you did not get into business to earn losses. You want to be over here in the profit territory. However, you're not obeying the laws of gravity as it relates to business. You're not obeying the laws of demand and supply. What you must do if you want to have a profitable business is you need to suppress the supply and you need excess demand. You have to get that gap between the two. You have to create this tension over here. So how do we suppress supply? Well, what we do is we create something called the official capacity. The official capacity is the capacity that you state is your capacity of how many clients you're willing to take on in order to protect the experience for each client. So you might say, my official capacity is 12 clients for the year. I only take on one client a month, so I can only take on 12 clients a year. And the reason that I do that is because I'm very dedicated in the way that I care for my clients, and I'm selective in the way that I only take on clients who I know that I can add value to. So this is called protecting the capacity, and it's creating what's called an official capacity. Your business needs to have an official capacity, the stated amount of clients that you're willing to take on each year, and you also need your reasons for why your official capacity is what it is, right? You're going to have 2 or 3 reasons, and you're going to say, the reason for my official capacity is because of this limiting factor, and this ability to protect the experience. All of that creates the official capacity. Then the next thing you need to know is your conversion rate. Your conversion rate is the number of leads that you generate as it relates to sales. So you need to figure out, what is your leads to sales rate? So in one of my businesses, our leads to conversion is 65 to 1. So for every 65 leads we generate 1 client sale. Another business that I'm involved in has a 30 to 1 ratio. So for every 30 leads that come in, there will be 1 sale. So this is our leads to sales conversion rate. So you need to figure out, what is that number? Now, what you do is you take your official capacity times by your conversion rate, and that's going to give you the amount of leads that you need. Sorry for this getting messy, but you get the idea. Your official capacity times by your conversion rate, that's going to tell you the exact point where your business begins to get oversubscribed. So for example, if I know that my leads to conversion is 30 to 1, but I actually want 10 customers a year, it means that I need 300 leads in order to get my 10 customers, right? So 300 leads gets me my 10 customers. So this number here is the number where I am at equilibrium, right? And I don't want to be at equilibrium. This number gives me wages, right? I don't want wages, I want profits. So what I need is excess demand, right? This is where I'm going to make profit here, because it's creating excess demand. So in my experience, when you can get twice as many leads as you need, now you've got plenty of excess demand. So imagine that this number is not 300, it's 600. So now I've got 600 leads to get 10 clients. That is going to be an amazing ratio where I have lots of people signaling their interest relative to my official capacity. I know that my business is going to be flying at that point. In fact, this is a magical thing that happens. When this tension here happens, we get something called WOWE, spelt with an E. It's called with or without you energy. With or without you energy means that my business will be fine with or without you. And that happens when you have so many leads coming in that your business is going to function, it's going to be fine, you're going to have your clients. And if any particular person says, oh, I'm not sure about your prices, you say, that's fine, find someone that meets your budget. Or if someone says, oh, I'm not sure if you're the right fit for me, you say, that's totally fine, let me give you some names of some other companies you might want to use. That's the way that you naturally behave when you have with or without you energy. So when does with or without you energy happen? It happens when you have far more leads than you could possibly have as customers. So your job, one of your key roles as an entrepreneur, is to figure out, how do you do this in a cost-effective way? How do you create way more demand than supply? So a couple of things that do this. You want to have signal collection campaigns. Signal collection campaigns is where you're not trying to sell your official capacity, you're just simply getting people to signal their interest in your official capacity. So that could be a scorecard, a waiting list, a workshop, a registration of interest list, a discussion group. Those are all different ways that people signal their interest in your official capacity. Now, what may surprise you is that 94% of consumers trust brands even more when they can see a transparency between demand and supply tension. They actually feel that that is something that's trustworthy. So if you tell people what your official capacity is, and if you tell people how many signals of interest you collected, you're actually going to increase the amount of trust that people have for you, and you're going to increase the amount of desire that they feel for you. So if you get good at signal generation campaigns, you're going to get good at getting oversubscribed. Okay, that's a lot. We've got ourselves a big messy diagram here. I hope that was interesting. If you're interested in how to put this into play, if you want to know specific tactics to create demand and supply tension, I'd love to see you at one of my live events. I run them every couple of weeks. There'll be a link somewhere below here, and we're going to go through my latest thinking and my latest tactics on how to get demand and supply tension. How can you create that with or without you energy? How can you formalize your official capacity? How can you get the excess demand? We're going to talk about all of that at my upcoming workshop. So I hope to see you there. Click on the link below. Also, give this channel a like and a subscribe. Leave me a comment, and I look forward to seeing you soon. All the best.